Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna create full stack application. No, I'm not right. Today will be the first video out of 3 videos that I'm planning to show you how to create full stack web application. Web application consists from front end, back end, and database. So in general terms, of course it's more complicated than that, but general steps are to create a front end, back end database, and that's the general full stack app. So we're gonna use Java programming language. We're gonna use Spring framework for that, and 3 videos will be different because they will use different technologies, although everything will be pushed later together. Today we're gonna use Java programming language. We're gonna create the back end of the app. We're gonna create the bones, the skeleton of our entire application, and then next video will be the databases where we're gonna use MySQL, and then third video will be the front end, will be the HTML, CSS. Probably will not use JavaScript yet, or maybe we're gonna use at least a little bit of JavaScript. So today's video is the most difficult one probably because we're gonna use multiple classes, and Java programming language is pretty difficult in general to understand, but it's very big, very safe, very stable general programming language. So first of all, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use help of Spring Initializer. Spring is as I said, framework, basically a collection of libraries where so we don't need to write everything ourselves. We can use code of people that used before and shared with us. So basically this is this usage of the different libraries to help us speed up the process. Group, this we can leave it as is. Now let's rename it to visitor maker. Okay, artifact. Let's name today's program will be very simplified password book version, where we're gonna have a simple list of our passwords so we will not forget them. We'll have website name, we'll have username, we'll have a password, and we'll store later that information in the database. This is only for educational purposes. If we would not we would use a little bit more secure way of programming if this was the real password book, but it's good enough for us to explore full stack web development with Java. Let's add call it user, and that's it. Now let's add dependencies. Dependencies are basically those libraries that I was talking about. So let's do the Spring Web. This is the library that helps us to communicate between the Java program that we're gonna write and the internet. Then let's add also SQL. Yes, this one. We'll not use right now, but we're gonna use it later for communication with SQL. And that's it. We're good to go. Let's generate the code. Let's save it into our folder. The folder will be let's create a folder. User. It's gonna be our folder. Let's do it here. And then okay, everything good here. Let's go to the folder. Let's extract the code, extract all, then close it, delete. Let's open. Okay, we have some sound effect here, which is good. Background sound instead of music. We have water running and dishes making some sounds. Okay, what I'm doing, I'm importing user into, yes, this is IntelliJ development environment, and what I did, I opened, I have two screens here. I opened file, I open user and clicked OK, so it uploaded all the code that was created by Spring. Okay, so this is the files that we have. This is the main. This is the main file that starts everything. It's empty. Basically, it starts the other files that we're gonna create. So, for this little tiny project, we'll need 4 classes. We'll need the object class, okay, so let's create different folders for different classes. Package is basically a folder. So we'll have domain. Domain will contain objects for our code, for our simple password book, where we're gonna write passwords, because we have lots of different difficult passwords and we don't wanna forget them. So the object will be, let's call it user. User will have 3 fields or 3 variables. We'll have username, we'll have password, and will be the website name. So we'll have Amazon. My username for Amazon is 1235 Amazon, and then my password for Amazon is Amazon 1234. And then we'll have another password for Gmail, and then for all the other imaginary websites and usernames and passwords. Okay, so we're generating domain. Inside of domain, let's create a Java class, and let's call user. Technically, I would like to call it users, but usually you don't call class plural. Usually, for some reason in Java, you call class not plural. So, okay, so this is our object class. Now let's create another package for controller. Let's call it web. So user web will contain one class. That class will be called user controller. This class will be class that communicates between the website and the service class, which will be created next. This will be just a communication layer, communication class, which will have all the details, how to show stuff online, how to take stuff from online and send it to service service class. And now we're creating new package for service, and let's create Java class called user service. And then the last one will be the last package will be repository. Repository will be also communication layer or class that communicates and helps in communication between the database and the service class. So now we're getting multiple layers here. User repository. Okay, so we have 4 beautiful, nice classes here. Again, web will be the communication class between the website, which will be created in the video number 3. This is video number 1. Then we have repository class. This is communication layer between the database, which will be created in next video, video number 2. And then the service class, and then service class is all the business logic that we're using. Domain contains only simple object, from which we're gonna start first. So in this simple app, we'll need only three variables. Private string user. Let's make it faster. Private string password. Private string web name. User name. Username will contain our username. Password will contain our password. Web name will contain name of the website which the password and username will work for. Okay. Let's create getters and setters for all these three variables. Generate getters and setters for all three. And then lastly, let's create a string method. To string method helps us to print the object. This is the object. User is the object, which contains three variables, three fields. And if we want to show it, if we want to print it, for example, we have to use getters and getters to print each value. We cannot just print as print user. So this toString method helps us to print. We can now, with this method, we can just put print user, and it prints all those nice three fields for us. Okay, so one part is done out of 4. Right now, let's create a repository. This repository will be only temporary repository. We'll be using real MySQL database later. Next video. So right now we'll need only to populate those fields. Okay, so let's do public public list, array list. Let's put array list. Public array list, and then let's go get values. Get user values. Let's import array list. Okay, now let's create some values. Okay, so for this one, also let's import let's put annotation as a repository. In Spring Boot you need to put annotations for each files. This one, the repository will be repository, service will be service, domain will be entity, service will be, and then web will be controller. At repository, let's import it, and then let's do this. Let's create objects. And then we'll return objects from them list. Okay, so let's create only 3 objects. That would be enough for us right now. So we'll create 3 users. Let's bring in the user here. And later, as I said, we're gonna clear this out for a real database. Okay. User, let's import user. This is our user. Okay, so let's create okay, we forgot to do one thing. We forgot to have a constructor here. Let's generate constructor. Okay. I'm not sure what is that problem. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, it's not finished, that's why. Okay. Okay, so we will populate object right now. Okay, I kinda, okay. And then let's put this. So, username, John. Password, John, MP3. Website, Amazon. Let's call it user1. Okay. Four more. Let's have 5 users. 5 users. Okay. John 1, John 2, John 3, John 4, and John 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And gmail.com. So we have 5 users. Of course, there is a faster, more efficient way probably to populate array. Well, no, let's leave it as is because we don't want to too much complication here. Okay. 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 I'm just populating data into the array list right now. List of users. Add user1. Okay, let's change the names here. Okay, and then we we'll need to return list of users. That's it. So looks like we finished our small database. What it does, it creates John's usernames, John's passwords, adds everything into array list, and then returns that array list to whom it will call. So we're done with the database, temporary database layer. And then here we're done with our object itself. Service. What service will do is it will be our business logic. It will do all the calculations, manipulations, everything what has to be done in this app, because user is just a user. It will not do anything. It's just a stationary user. It will not have any methods. User controller will be communication layer between website and our program, our user service, and then user repository is our temporary database, and will help us with real database when we'll have finished it tomorrow, probably next video. Okay, so in user service we will grab everything. We will grab the list of users, usernames and passwords from the database, and we're gonna pass it to output user control. So let's call a method here, public. It will have array list. Right now it will not have any variables. Let's import it here. Right here, because it's our service, we need to put annotation service. Let's import all the needed imports. Also, it will need our repository. So let's have autowired. User repository. Let's do actually it should go down. It goes here inside the class. There we go. Okay, user repository. And this will it's helper annotation. It tells Spring Boot to grab all the required information from user repository, so we don't need to do much instantiation inside this class in terms of user repository. And then now let's grab the array, return we have only one line of code here. It will, when we're gonna call this get user list, we're gonna call it from user controller. It will return, it will go to user repository and create and get entire database of users. So this is very simplified full stack app, but we're gonna build it bigger and bigger every every new video. So next video will be, as I said, about databases. So we're gonna add also additional code into this Java app too, and then when we're gonna have third video about the web front end development, we're gonna create a website that will use HTML, CSS. We're gonna add more code here, more functionality. Okay, so we did 3 classes, and now we have the last one, user controller. I forgot to put annotation here. Let's put entity. Okay, yes, it's here. User controller. Now this is communication layer between the website and our app. Just making some space. First of all, annotation. Because we're gonna communicate here with the service, let's auto-wire user service. And right now we'll have only one method here. The method will be annotated as a get mapping. What it will do is it will only show our database, which it will grab from user repository, to our internet browser. Right here we need to put the ending of the URL that we're gonna use. So let's use it as users. It's not really logical, but it will work for now. Let's have a method, public method. We'll have string type, because we're gonna return string to the website. What we're gonna see on the website, it will be string. Our database will be in string format. Let's put name as get users. Now we need values for this. This model map helps us to send information to the website. This model map is a class that helps us to do that. I just pressed Ctrl Alt L to make code look nicer. And here now let's return. Actually, maybe we'll not need model map for now. Well, let's keep it for now. If we'll need it, we'll use it. If not, we'll delete it. It's usually used to put okay. I'm thinking get user list. Okay, let's try this one. I'm not sure if it will work, but get user list. Okay. Let's run and see if it works. We have an error. Okay. The error is telling us that it cannot find a database, which is absolutely correct. We don't have a database. This is POM file, which contains information what to start. So let's comment this. Let's rerun it. Maybe it will not look for database now. It looks for it. Why? This is okay. That's okay. Spring Framework, Spring Bootman plugin. Maybe here. Nope. That's weird. I'm not sure where to look for this, what to delete now. We included, maybe we need to rebuild Maven. Maybe it will clean itself when we gonna reload Maven. Is it done? Let's do one more time. Let's try starting the project again. Okay, for now we don't need entity. Entity refers to a database. Because we're not using a real database, let's comment it out. And now our project works. Very good. So yeah, I included into the starter code libraries for our future database, and the project couldn't start because it was looking for the database but couldn't see it. So what I did, I commented out all the information that is related to that future database, and it ran fine. So now what we need to do, we need to start localhost and see if we can get anything. What is our endpoint? User application, user controller, users. Okay, so our project is not working yet. I will Google it right now. On my left screen. Okay. Let's do it on the screen. How to output from How about we'll exchange here REST controller. Let's see if we have anything. Oh yes, huh. That's it. Our full stack app works. Okay, so only 2 boo-boos through entire code, through entire 4 classes. That is very good. Okay, let me run over the code again, and then next video we'll do the databases. So I'll use here the Spring, which is framework, that are libraries for Java. We created 4 classes. User Java class, this is an object. We created user repository, this is temporary code for temporary database. We created business logic, which is very simple logic. It has only one method, which grabs the data and passes it to user controller. And user controller is just a communication level between layer between the the service and the website. When we enter our this is our local server, we enter server, and then we enter this endpoint, which is users. We get list of our usernames and passwords and the businesses that we use those passwords and usernames. And then, yes, next video will be databases. After we create SQL database, we're gonna add more functionality to the code. Probably will enter ability to add, password from the website, from the portal. And then third video will be the front end. So we'll create a website with the buttons, with the fields where we can enter usernames, passwords, and then buttons where we can click and get that information back from the server. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day. Bye bye.